Hey, welcome back. We're Mike Griffith of Bakersfield, California, in the Baco Motorsports Power Hour and the Kern County Raceway Park segment. I've got Buddy Shepard, late model driver out there, 16 years old, right?
Yep.
Just got your license a few months ago to drive on the streets.
Yeah, finally legal.
And legally ditched out of Centennial for a little break here. And his dad, Dick, who has run both dirt and asphalt and won numerous races and championships. How you guys doing?
Doing really good.
Doing really good. So you had some racing out there. Steve Hughes could not make it. He said he's meeting with some NASCAR people, maybe trying to sign a contract for him after he ran his first ever race in a mini stock.
He ran really, really good there the other night.
He ran his first ever mini stock race, and he's not here to talk about it, which I find amazing because I'm sure Steve would like to be here to talk about running the mini stock race.
Especially as much as he talks.
So we got some results. So we got a picture from that mini stock race, that first one. Well, we got the Bandoleros first. Cabe McClenny, another Bandolero win. Locked up basically the championship was locked up, but that was the last Bandolero race of the season. So you had Cabe McClenny winning, Kiersey Young right behind him at the end. Hard to pass there. Usually you have to do a little bumping on that quarter mile to pass, and Kiersey did not do that. Cabe got the win. Kiersey finished second. Another good, strong finish for her. Jeremy Clark in third with another strong run for Jeremy. And Cale McClenny, that is 16 of 17 races over 2 years, I think, for Cabe in the Bandoleros. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive, too.
Very impressive. And then we had the mini stock race here. And it's not Steve Hughes in Victory Lane. No, it's Damian Lyinger. So I don't know what happened to Steve Hughes. Let's see. Nope. Destiny Joplin finished second. Let's see. Nope. Austin Wilson was third. Of course, they have a little more experience than Steve Hughes, who jumped in. I think it was Brady Mello's car. Brady won a race, the last race, and broke his wrist right at the finish. And so he gave his car to Steve Hughes, who mustered to a fourth place finish. And did you watch that race?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Was it? Was Steve holding his own there?
Fell back a little bit, then he figured out how to drive the car towards the end of the race. So.
And then ran him down. He was a close fourth. He ran him down. He figured out his line, and
that's what it takes, right?
Absolutely.
You're out there. You can go out there and practice a little bit, but you've got to get into a race and then figure it out with the other cars in the track.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you're by yourself, it don't matter how fast you run. It's how you deal with other cars on the track and how you pass them.
Yeah, and it's totally different if you're going out there just testing by yourself.
Absolutely.
To running with some cars on the racetrack, and you think Steve did well once he got the hang of it there and got going?
Absolutely. He started changing his line just a little bit, and when they let off, he'd drive in like an extra 5 feet, and he figured it out, and he was literally right up on third place's bumper at the end. That was a great race. First to fourth on that deal was awesome.
Well, that's a good deal. So we got that, and then we have our next results here, and we've got Mr. Mason in Victory Circle in the Spec Mods. It's Mike's second win. He won earlier this season and then hasn't revisited Victory Circle. So you got Mike Mason winning, Eric Bruss second, Ed Coffey third, Jim Coffey, and Kevin Callahan. And Kevin had a pretty good points lead a few races ago, and it's now down to 5 points with one race left.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 5 finishing positions on the track. Jim Coffey's 5 points behind, but there's 3 points for qualifying number one.
Ain't it 2 points per position?
There's 2 points position. 2 points per position, plus bonus points in qualifying of 3, 2, and then 1 for everybody from third on back. So if Jim Coffey could qualify first,
absolutely,
and Kevin doesn't qualify better than third, all of a sudden it's a 3-point race, which is 2 positions on the racetrack entering the last race. So that'll be fun to look at. I think that's October 15th is your last race, correct?
Yeah.
So keep your eyes on that. And then we had the Race Car Factory Spec Mods ran there, and kind of a unique deal. Go ahead and show the results for here. That's Roger Hornsby and Craig Eaton, but they ran with the late models, Dick, and you said there were half a dozen spec late models and half a dozen late models, so you suggested to run together?
Absolutely, and it put on a really good show. It was a really good show.
Yeah, how'd that work out, buddy? You had a little more traffic than usual, and then the spec mods being quite a bit slower, you had to lap them. So how was that out there?
It was fine. They held their line for me while I was going around them, which I really appreciated from them. And I mean, we just didn't have any problems with them. We got through them and just got through the whole race.
And is that a type of deal where they're holding their line? Do you think their spotter's talking to them? Is your spotter talking to you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they'd be right up in front of me if their spotter wasn't talking to me. So
And
worked
then
out good.
and then NASCAR gets on there and tells their spotters, hey, he's coming up, gives them about a lap notice or a half a lap notice, so they're already prepared to move down when Buddy gets up to him. And like Vernon and
Right.
Cole. So I mean, they're telling them all the time where those cars are at.
Now, do you have mirrors in the cars?
yes.
So you do have mirrors where dirt tracks, there's no mirrors.
No mirrors.
So Dick, you've raced both. Why no mirrors on dirt track? Why mirrors on pavement racing?
Well, dirt track and the guy behind you, he's worked really hard to find that line to get up to you. Well, if you had a mirror and you're running on the bottom and the guy behind you is running the top and he's gaining on you, and you would automatically move up there, or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Sometimes on the dirt where the bottom's better early on, and then you're running so well, and then the top gets better, but you don't know, and all of a sudden you're running second.
And that old saying of being second the whole race really stands on dirt,
Yeah.
because you can just really pick the leader off easily. He has no clue where the second place running without radios and no mirrors.
And then we have the late model results from KCRP, and this picture, it looks the same as the race before, as the same as the race before, as the same as the first race of the season, because Buddy Shepard here has now made it 10 straight wins at KCRP. So how are you doing this, Buddy?
No, Mike Keene's got our car going around that track really well. I mean, 51 car is getting really fast. He'll be really fast next race. 40's right there with us, so next race will be pretty good.
And then we saw that Kevin Vernon was second, Cole Adamo was third, and earlier this year, well, Kevin was pretty fast early this year and was fast but loose, and that cost him his race car 2 races in a row, and then where he wrecked. And then he had to go get a new race car, so it takes a little time to dial that in, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, they're doing really good. They got that thing really close. The last couple of weeks, his times have always been the fastest in the main event up until this last race, and Mike got our car a lot better this week and made a couple of little fine adjustments. And our guys work on it. They all come over every Tuesday night, and there'll be 7 or 9 of us working on the car, and then Buddy and I and Kelly work on it every other night and every other day of the week. We touch that car every single day, to try to go over from one end to the other.
Now, you've had, earlier this year, it seemed like Cole Adamo was right there with you, and he's faded a little bit. He had a little clutch or transmission problem a couple races ago where he would just drop back on the restarts just horribly. And then once he got going, it was okay, but when you're, 15 car lengths back on a restart, you're pretty much toast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That track, especially, the restarts are everything. You got to make the most of them and try to get your car up in the front and so you can sell off from there.
Now, you've had some pretty good side-by-side races with both Cole and Racing. How is it out there running side-by-side on that racetrack?
I mean, the track's really wide. I mean, I usually don't have a problem with it. My spotter tells me where they are and where they're running, so I can adjust my line a little bit to help me have the edge on the outside.
Now, if you're on the outside, but you've been on the inside too, the outside is the preferred groove.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just because there's more momentum carrying out of the corners?
I believe it is because there's the 604 in our car. It's a whole momentum-based race car, so you got to make the most of it.
Is that where you just want to roll into the corners as easy as possible,
Mm.
just so you keep plenty of, you don't want to scrub too much speed off entering the corner, and then you've got to be on that throttle as soon as you can?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you screws too much speed off in the center of the corner, I mean, they're going to gap you 2 car lengths going down the straightaway. So you got to be aware of what you're doing and make sure you're doing it right.
When you started this season, could you have ever envisioned winning all 10 races?
No, it's like a dream come true. It's something I've been dreaming for a while, just to win a whole bunch of races in one season. And Mike King sure got that car really, really good for me, and I think that's what we got over everyone else.
Now, I didn't see the last race, but the race before that looked like you got out to a pretty good lead, and then Racing came up, got on your tail, and then you edged back out in front by a couple of 3 car lengths. Is that where your spotter just gets you on you and say, hey, he's right there, you got to get on it, or are you saving things, or is it just the way the race goes?
Just the way the race goes. Our car fires off pretty good, and towards the end of the race, it kind of slows down a little bit. So, and then once we get the yellows off, we get to cool our stuff down, and then we go back at it.
So pretty good on the restarts,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty good until the last. Was it? If somebody wants to get Buddy, come on in the last 10 laps.
That'd probably be the best way to do it.
Well, the one edge our car has, Buddy's really good at hitting his marks really good, but the fall off on our car is very minimal. That's where he really shines at the end of the race.
Is that where you look at lap times and you can see where
Absolutely.
the cars,
Absolutely.
what the
right.
car is doing? Does it tend to fall off? It was still pretty warm, but is it going to tend to fall off less now, say on October 15th, when it's much cooler than on September 1st or July 4th?
Yeah, July 4th, I think our car fell off about like 0.7 of a second that night. It was just really hot, really slick, and now the track's gonna be really cool, and car should be really stuck on the asphalt.
Okay, so we've got show the slide on what's coming up here, Chris. We've got the George Snyder Classic King of the Wings on October 9th, and early in your career, you ran sprint cars, junior sprints and stuff, all on dirt though.
Yeah.
Would you get into a winged sprint car and run a 14:32 lap at KCRP?
I mean, they're flying, but if I did get in one, I don't want to know who's working on it.
And, did you see the last race out there, the wing?
Oh yeah,
What do you think of those cars out there?
they put on a great show, and it seems like whoever saves their tires most is the one who wins the race at the end of it.
We was out there for the Lucas Oil Modified race, and they brought one out to, just a
Hot lap?
hot lap in front of the crowd. And was you there that night?
No.
I think you were, weren't you?
No, I wasn't there that night, but
Okay, well, the throttle stuck, and the motor blew up. The throttle stuck, and the driver, Davey Hamilton, the
Junior?
third,
yeah.
had to turn that thing sideways and shove it into the wall, the infield wall, and stop it right there on fire. And the fire crew there was incredible. They were there in seconds.
So it was a, yeah, you don't want to get a throttle hung up on those cars turning. Well, he was turning around 15 seconds lap, but when they're there in 2 weeks from now,
I think he just ran like a
90.
1490. That lap the motor broke.
Yeah, they'll turn under 14 seconds. Like I think the record is around 14:30. I don't remember, but it's fast. And whatever you see for mile per hour, it's really a little bit more because the track's really a little bigger than a half mile. We're not sure
Yes.
how big, but I'd say probably closer to 5.33. So they
It's
are
definitely
flying.
a 5/8 mile track. We've been to a lot of half mile tracks, and it's the biggest.
And then your last race of the season coming up on the 15th. Is that just another 40 lapper or is that longer?
I believe it's just another 40 lap.
Another
I believe
40 lapper.
it might be 50 laps.
50 laps?
Maybe. I'm not certain.
See, it's an Indian race. Any pressure to make it a clean sweep?
It'd be really nice, but just got to go out there and do our best, and it'll pay off at the end.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming in, buddy. I want to thank Dick for coming in. I think we got some insight today. And we're going to be back with the next segment, which is the Bakersfield Speedway segment coming up in a few minutes on the Baco Power Hour.